The Clockmaker's Promise. In a quiet little town, where the streets stayed empty after sunset and the wind carried the smell of warm bread and old wood, there stood a small, dusty shop. The sign above the door read in faded golden letters, "Elwin's Time. We fix what ticks." Inside, the shop was like a forgotten world. Every wall, every corner, every inch was covered in clocks. Tall grandfather clocks that stood like silent guards, tiny desk clocks that blinked like owls in the night, and cuckoo clocks that popped out on the hour with cheerful sounds. Some were broken, others were ticking softly, and a few had not made a sound in years. The man who owned the shop was Mr. Elwin, a quiet, elderly man with silver-white hair, round glasses, and a face full of time. His hands, though old, moved with surprising grace. He didn't speak much, but his eyes held stories no book could tell. For the people of the town, he was a mystery. Some said he once built clocks for kings. Others believed he had lived 100 years. But everyone agreed on one thing: Elwin could fix anything that ticked. But Elwin didn't fix clocks just for money. He believed something deeper, that clocks held more than just time. "They carry memories," he often said softly to himself. "And sometimes they carry the people we've lost." One cloudy afternoon, as the sky turned gray and the wind danced with dry leaves, a little girl entered the shop. She was about 10 years old, with short hair that framed her serious face, and eyes that looked older than her age. She walked carefully, as if the air in the shop might break. In her small hand she held a silver pocket watch, old, dull, and silent. She stood before Mr. Elwin's desk and gently placed the watch down. "Can you fix this?" she asked, her voice no louder than a whisper. Elwin looked at the watch. It was well crafted, the kind of design people no longer made. The glass was cracked, the hands frozen at 3:17, and the metal had turned pale with age. He picked it up and studied it closely, feeling its weight, its silence, its hidden story. He opened the back cover to inspect the gears, but something caught his eye. Tucked behind the inner panel, hidden carefully, was a tiny piece of folded paper. With great care, Elwin unfolded the paper. The ink was faded, but the words were clear. "For my daughter, May. When this watch ticks again, I'll be with you, in every second. Love, Papa." Elwin paused. He looked up at the girl. "What is your name?" he asked gently. "May," she replied. He nodded slowly. "This belonged to your father?" She nodded. "He gave it to me before he passed away. It stopped that same day." Her eyes stayed on the floor, but Elwin could feel the weight of her words. "I've kept it safe," she continued, "but I want to hear it tick again. I want to feel like he's still with me." Elwin felt something shift inside him, something between sadness and purpose. He nodded and said softly, "I'll do my best." For 3 days and nights, Elwin worked on the pocket watch. He cleaned the gears, replaced the broken spring, polished the glass, and carefully adjusted the balance wheel. It was delicate work, like repairing a broken heartbeat. Every tickless moment reminded him of the little girl's eyes. Every time the watch refused to start, he felt he was letting down a child, and a father who had trusted time. On the second night, Elwin sat alone in his shop, surrounded by ticking clocks. The pocket watch lay open before him, still silent. He stared at the note again. "When this watch ticks again, I'll be with you." He whispered to himself, "Maybe it's not the gears that are broken. Maybe it's waiting for something more." The next morning, Elwyn tried one last thing. Something he had never done before. He held the pocket watch in both hands, closed his eyes, and spoke, not to the watch, but to the memory inside it. "She misses you," he whispered. "She still waits. Maybe she always will. Come back, even if only in a sound." Then, with trembling fingers, he turned the winding key. Tick. The sound was soft, almost invisible, but it was there. Then another, and another. Tick, tick, tick. The watch had come alive again. And in that moment, Elwyn felt something he hadn't felt in years: peace. That afternoon, May returned. Elwyn smiled, a rare smile that touched his eyes. He handed her the now shining pocket watch. "It ticks again," he said simply. May took it, held it to her ear, and heard it. Tick, tick, tick. Her eyes widened, and then slowly filled with tears. She pressed the watch to her chest. "It feels like he's here," she said. Elwyn nodded. He never really left. Some promises are stronger than time. May looked up. "How much do I pay?" Elwyn shook his head. "You already did. You believed." She smiled, a real smile, and turned to leave. Before walking out, she turned back and said, "Thank you for bringing him back." After May left, the shop felt quiet again. Elwyn sat back in his chair and looked around at the hundreds of clocks, ticking away, second by second. He opened his drawer and pulled out an old photo. A woman and a small child, both smiling, frozen in time. He stared at it for a long while, then whispered, "I kept my promise, too." And in that quiet clock shop, surrounded by memories and seconds, time moved on, but some moments stayed forever. Time keeps moving forward, but the people we love and the promises we make stay with us in every tick, every memory, and every second of the heart.